So you'd like to know about health and safety for mosaics? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Helen Miles and I'm here to teach you all the tips and tricks you need to make mosaics. If you didn't catch that, I'm Helen Miles and I'm here to teach you all the tips and tricks you need to make mosaics. When it comes to health and safety for mosaics, there's three bits of you and of other people that you have to bear in mind. One is your eyes, and the other is your lungs, and the third, less important but still worth considering, are your hands. The reason you have to consider your eyes is probably self-evident, but it's because of shards jumping up when you're cutting. So if you cut properly, if you cut while holding the tile with your thumb and first fingers, then you're not going to have bits leaping around. Or you could cup the tile like that to stop it leaping about. But imagine you're in a room with people who are not holding their tiles properly, and the pieces are leaping all over the place. So in that case, it might be a good idea to wear glasses. So these are the kind of safety goggles you can easily buy in any hardware shop. They're very inexpensive. And the advantage of them is they've got these sides on them, so that in theory and in practice, nothing can get in from the sides to get into your eye. I wear glasses, as you can see, so I don't wear special safety glasses when I'm working. And in all the time I've been making mosaics, which is more than 20 years, I've never known of an eye injury or even a close eye injury. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. So I do advise students to wear goggles when they're cutting. Another thing to be aware of when you're cutting tiles is the propensity for them to jump into cups of tea or coffee you might have on the table. So make sure that you cover anything you're drinking so you don't accidentally drink little bits of tile. The second thing, and the thing that I would count as the most important safety consideration when you're making mosaics, is a dust mask. It is absolutely essential. So you can either buy a reusable solid type of dust mask like this with filters, or you can use disposable ones, these FFP2 ones, which come singly, and then you chuck them after use. There are two main scenarios when you need a mask when you're making mosaics. One is when you're cutting, and if you're cutting something like ceramic or plates, crockery, they contain silica, a very, very fine dust, which can get deep into your lungs. And also marble is particularly dangerous in the sense that the dust is very fine, and if you're going to be cutting a lot of it, you really need to wear a mask. The second scenario where you should always wear a mask is when you're mixing grout or tile adhesive. So when you're using either of these substances, which come in powder form, they release this very fine dust when they're disturbed, as you can see in this video. So it's imperative that you wear a mask when you're mixing them. So wearing a mask is something I really never skip on, especially when I'm grouting or doing something involving tile adhesive thinset. Ideally, you'll mix your materials, your thinset or tile adhesive outside, and the same with the grout. But of course, that isn't always practical, especially in more northern parts of the world. So if you're going to be mixing inside, you absolutely have to wear a mask, and you ideally need to do it in an open room with lots of through air. The third thing to consider is your skin. So again, when you're mixing tile adhesive thinset or you're mixing grout, it's a good idea to wear gloves. You can wear ordinary kitchen gloves, which you can reuse time and time again, or you can also use disposable gloves. These are surgical gloves, which you then throw away each time. The problem with these, though, is of course they split very easily. Personally, I don't wear gloves when I'm mixing. That's because I don't seem to have a skin sensitivity to the cement in the tile adhesive or the grout, but nor am do I particularly care about my hands. They're all rough and ready anyway. But I don't really suffer from dry hands, so it's not a problem for me. But if it is, then do wear gloves. It's a simple thing to do. You can also use hand moisturiser, which will help with any dryness. These kind of gloves can be useful every now and again. These are Workman's gloves, very cheap and cheerful. You find them in hardware shops. And they're useful, for example, if you were breaking a lot of plates manually. So if you were breaking the plates under a tea towel with a hammer, and then you were going to be picking them up, you'd want to make sure that any sharp bits don't cut your skin. So yes, you could have some of these handy for that. Otherwise, I don't use them at all when I'm making mosaics. The one thing that I'm never without is finger strip plasters. So the injuries that I have come across myself or have seen in other people tend to be little nicks in the skin. And so it's just helpful to have some kitchen paper, some kitchen rolls or tissues, and some finger strips like these, some plasters nearby, because touch wood, that's the most likely and the most serious injury that you're likely to have. And the only reason that you're likely to have that happen, or it could happen, is because you're sweeping up shards of glass with your fingers instead of using a little dustpan and brush. So I'd really recommend that you always sweep up any debris from mosaics with a dustpan and brush or broom, and not use your hand to sweep them off the table. So that's it, a quick little video on health and safety for mosaics. The 3 things to think about: eyes, lungs, skin. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe below.